Hi friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Gemini July 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. Uranus is moving into your sign this month for the first time in 84 years. So that's a big deal. We'll talk about what that can mean for you, not only now, but for the next 7 to 8 years. And we've got lots of shorter term energies to talk about. The sun moving through Cancer, the Mercury retrograde in Leo, the new moon, the full moon. So we'll get into all of that. This is for you if Gemini is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other placement that you're listening for of Gemini. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And very late degree Gemini friends, so birthdays like June 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23-degree Gemini placements through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Cancer report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple of general things that will affect everybody. I will go into the shorter term movements and then get into that longer term Uranus transits. So this month, the sky is not as busy as it was in June. We had 30 notable aspects. Aspects are when our mathematical connections between planets that activate things for us here on the Earth. We've got about 13 when we're looking at the usual suspects of what we follow in Western astrology, compared to 30 this month, or 30 last month in June. Okay, so that's just kind of letting you know there's a little bit less busyness, for better or worse, but we do have a lot of great aspects, including 4 wonderful Venus aspects scattered throughout the month, enhancing love and money and relationships and that kind of thing. Also very important to note moving into this month is that our break from eclipse season is starting to become over. So as July progresses, you will start to notice those active hot spots for life-changing trajectories that started at the end of 2024, went down into the backdrop, then popped up again March, April or so of this year, then kind of faded into normalcy. They're going to pop back up again now. So the themes, 4 to 6, even sometimes 8 weeks before the actual eclipses, which are in September, is when eclipse season starts, which is why I'm talking about that now in July, because this is where the bubbles start and you will start to see those things coming back up for their next chapters. So I'm not going to get that much into that now. August and September, we'll talk a lot more about that. But what I do want you to know now is don't be surprised if some of the calm that, we got to from the previous eclipses start kind of bubbling up with more activity, because that is very likely going to happen. Okay, so let's just take this piece by piece here. I want to start out with the sun's movement. This is Cancer season, so we're going to talk about the fact that the sun is moving through Cancer short term, few weeks. Long term, Jupiter is moving through Cancer. I did talk about this more in the June report, which you can re-listen to, but I will hit some points about this here. For the short term and for the long term, you're going to have a big emphasis on your finances. There's a very good chance that this month can bring a lot of income for you, a lot of income opportunities or things to set you up financially, materially, and also not just for this month, but also for the future. This is part of a larger trend of Jupiter moving through from June 2025 through June 2026 of Jupiter wanting to expand your finances. It's very, very, very common for people's financial circumstance to improve incredibly over the year that Jupiter has this transit. So be looking for that focus, those opportunities, that growth to come in your financial and material security sector. This also can come with more expenses, but it will also come with a greater material experience and the trade-offs that, that you have to do in order to experience that. Okay, then as the month progresses, the sun, also on the topic of Cancer, we will have a lot of focus on home and family and housing, and you may return back to a place that felt like home from the Mercury retrograde, which we'll get to here. And, and just there'll be some attention here to your inner world and some high emotions, for better and worse, coming from those Cancer energies, okay? So as the sun progresses later in the month, around the 21st or so of July, into Leo, it will join Mercury already there and the new moon in the days around July 24th into this very big Leo party. And for Gemini, this is great because that makes a 60-degree angle, which is the angle of opportunity, to come in the arenas of Leo, which has to do with your passions and your talents, hidden talents and ones that you know, your leadership, things involving creativity and children, things involving dating and romance. So there may be an acceleration or a reconsideration of things in those sectors, a return back to things that worked, or a return of issues that may have been red flags in the past that have come to resurface to look at. So you'll be seeing that. It's not always the best time to make a huge long-term decision because we'll just look at the retrograde dates here. July 17th through August 11th, Mercury is officially retrograde, but starting June 30th is when the pre-transit shadow period starts, and not until August 26th does it regain full steam. So that means for all of July and most of August, we're going to be in this phase of inward and backward, of being the earthworm and going back over stuff, reconsidering, researching. But we're working with the tides coming in. Okay, so I like to give you my tidal analysis every month. When Mercury's in retrograde and the shadow periods are occurring, it's better to be on the shore as the tides come in and you deal with the things that come in. Maybe it'll be a nice dolphin that visits. Maybe it'll be garbage that you have to, or choose to clean up. But whatever it is, it's you responding to what's coming in. And July and August are very responsive in that way. If you try to push something out on those tides, it will bring it right back to you, which can work well for like a promotion, or it can work well for, experimenting or some short-term things that you're just playing with. But if you're trying to do something long-term and big that you want to go far and wide, wait till the tides are going out, and that will be, in September. Now, if you are trying to make plans for the final half of 2025 and you want to know all of the tides going in and going out and the best dates, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, scroll down to the just a quick scroll, and then in the middle it'll say Secret Star Portal, which you can also search for Annie Botticelli Secret Star Portal in a online search. And that star portal houses my retrograde direct tidal calendar so that you have that tool for your longer term planning. But for your shorter term here in the next few months, this information will help you tremendously because you'll do your researching, do your planning, do your behind the scenes, and then make your bigger decisions as the energy's clear. But you're going to see a massive focus on the Leo things we just talked about, and also on Gemini, because the third house is ruled by Gemini, and this is the language that you speak, and this is in a 60-degree angle of opportunity for you. So you're giving an opportunity here to rewrite your narrative, to express yourself differently, to convey information to your relatives. Okay, so all of your relatives between all this activity in the third house and then plus Mars in the fourth house, all of your relatives are coming up this month. So you'll be seeing and interacting with a lot of them. Some of them may pop up from the past, and you may be, navigating how you're going to revamp your communication style with everybody, but also how you're going to stay in touch with, or not, these people in your life. All right, so this may be like a rebranding of your voice. This may be a chance for editing or rewriting something, or going back over an idea from the past that you're getting polished and ready to launch in the future when the tides shift. Okay, so this is like a reclamation of your voice. This is a reclamation of your hidden talents that you didn't even know you have, and drawing them in from, from deep within you, or drawing them out, or going back to things that you're good at and making them even better. Also, it's going to be very busy. Lots of travel, lots of moving around, lots of social interactions with people. So, as usual, when we have that type of energy, just be prepared to keep yourself well so that you don't, so the spinning around doesn't get you sick. Okay, Mars moving through Virgo. My little saying is wherever Mars flows, Mars goes, obsession flows. So you'll be very focused on Virgo things, which is health and wellness, pets, animals, your day-to-day experience, your systems and organization, and specifically moving through the house of home. So you may be trying to get your systems at home revamped so that everything is all ready for your next level. You may be wanting to declutter, spruce up, deal with repairs that have needed to happen, go back over certain things with your family, or you may just be bonding with your family. And, this may be a very, very family-focused month, both from the Cancer energies being lit up by the sun and also Mars moving through the house of Cancer. If you have to do a big renovation, maybe making the plans or doing the research about it now would be good. But if you have to initiate the big renovations, the contractual part and the getting people to show up part might be a little bit better once you get like towards the end of August into September. Okay, so while all of this is happening, we also have Gemini getting ready, or Venus getting ready to move into Gemini, which will go through your first house, which will increase your personal magnetism, can help your appearance, and can supercharge your identity and you glowing up into your most magnetic and expressive self. All right, so this is a great time to take some pictures, especially if you're retaking pictures. Your charms are higher now, and Gemini energy can be very charming. It's just intrinsic into the energetics of the sign. But if you're trying to convince someone of something and they've said no, this could be your chance for a redo. The retrograde can bring you back to try to do it again. The Venus in your first house can help you come up with the ways that can help people understand how it's the best way to do it. So, you may feel this urge to update your appearance or style. And this is perfectly fine. Just make sure you avoid the permanent things that are harder to fix, because you may change your mind quickly, or there may be miscommunication about how you want them to come out. So, little ways that you can update things could be better for now than the big things. And this is not a time to hide. This is a time to be out there and circulating. There are a lot of social energies happening in your chart right now. Now, while Venus is a light, happy, smooth, comforting, nurturing transit, we've got Uranus also getting ready to go in your sign for the first time in 84 years. And for the next 7 to 8 years, it will be here. So I guess it's been probably, if you subtract the 7 to 8 from 84, maybe 75 or so years since it's been in this sign. And that's a big deal. So I'm not going to go too much into what that means for humanity or what that means, in general. But I want to talk specifically about what that means for you as a Gemini. So those same things that we talked about for shorter term transits with Venus, there may be a long-term, erratic, kind of less predictable, electric, random, jostling, rebellious need to change things in your appearance or your personality or your lifestyle. You may surprise other people by bringing your truth to them and having it just be time for them to deal with it. If you've been undercover with certain things about that, it may be time for you to come out with those things. So anything having to do with anything in your personal life that is true for you, this is your personal revolution time. This is also a time where you may go back on something that you have presented yourself as before. So, like I said, it's kind of erratic, but it is definitely a time for personal experimentation, for revolution, and a time for, so much more freedom and autonomy, and a time for futuristic thinking, also having to do with technology, seeing which ways technology can be woven into your highest expression, and also, what you do as your work, or how you call yourself, or how people know you. So Uranus is cracking open your mask. All right. So it's like this removing of the mask that may be what you were showing people that wasn't true, or what you were feeling as true and turns out to not be. And, the opening up for a new way of being seen. And it very much has to do with the idea of freedom. So you're going to encounter a massive amount of experiences on the topics of freedom at this time. You may be liberated suddenly from things that have been weighing on you forever. And you may kind of play in the realm of, personal freedom and space, and seeing what that looks like as you're navigating through, which of course can feel a little bit scary because it also has to do with changing alliances, because it's making this 180-degree transit to your 7th house. So the way that you are in relationship is going to change. People are going to be surprised by things from you. Stable things may be upset. Things that stay stable may encounter a lot of vitality and change and, just up-leveling, basically. So people in your life may surprise you, and there may be sudden things involving that, or you may surprise others, for better or worse. The best thing you can try to do with this transit is to try to make your decisions consciously and remember that however you're feeling at this moment may change rapidly, and kind of navigating through knowing that Uranus is making you feel like you have to do something, compelling you to do it, but the things you feel compelled to do may not always be the best things to do. Okay, so just kind of keeping some presence and consciousness in this situation. It can also revolutionize your voice, singing, writing, whatever gifts that you have of expressing yourself. All this Leo energy is getting you to rethink things. So if you have a way that people know you creatively, they may be in for a surprise, and your next offerings may be very, very different than how they were. So this is, a revitalizing time of experimentation, of revisiting and rewriting scripts that kept you, as being known in a certain way. This can also put a lot of pressure on your neurological system and your nervous system. So if you're prone to anxiety or nervousness, this transit can increase that. So you may be, encouraged to look for ways to calm your nerves, have habits that will help you stay calm. You may need assistance with this, and you may suddenly find the perfect person because, the same thing that brings it on quickly can also bring in the perfect resources to help you with this. But just know that those systems in your body may be under more duress, and you may need to have more care or more protection of those body systems. This is a very electrical transit, so you'll want to definitely be more careful around electric. And you may notice that you're affecting devices and things more with your electric field, but your manifestation powers can also be increased in major ways. Okay, so then we have in the days around July 10th, the full moon at 18 degrees of Capricorn. That for you is going to happen in the 8th house of Scorpio. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama of the energy of Capricorn, which is work, career, employment, things involving father figures, something coming out or something happening there. And specifically for Gemini, there's something happening with your shared resources or intimacy or deep transformation or merging money, spousal money, family money, power dynamics, emotional and karmic inheritance, psychological shadows, boundaries. If you're looking for a loan, you could get news that you get it. Or if you are trying to pay something off, this may be your last payment. Or you could get money back from somewhere, a nice check, or you could find money, something like that. There's definitely some sort of revelation around shared finances and taxes and debts and inheritances and things like that, or things having to do with emotional contracts or intimacy. So earlier I said that Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, and now Uranus are all changing signs. It's rare that happens. If you want to better understand the general implications for that, but also what your personal chart looks like from these changes, see my personalized report called the Outer Planet Transit Report at AnnieBClarity.com. Annie, the letter B, Clarity.com, where I give you my insights, not only on the general transits that are, these changes, but also where those placements are in your personal chart and what this could look like for you. If you want to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see my astrology certification course. If you want sweet and salty dates, got a lot of Venus aspects this month, sweet ones, detailed write-up of what the month is like, go to anniehelpsyou.com. Click on the link for my free VIP community, put your name and email address in there, get the welcome letter, click on the archive link, and put July 2025 astrology to access that report. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.